All right, let's just jump straight into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're breaking down a seriously foolproof masterclass level method for cooking up a 1 kilogram mutton curry. If you've ever been kind of intimidated by making traditional curries from scratch, well, don't sweat it. We're going to deconstruct the exact technique that takes totally basic ingredients and transforms them into a rich, complex masterpiece, step by step. Let's get right to it. So, quick question for you. Do you want a mutton recipe that literally makes the neighbors hungry? Because according to our source material, the aromas you're going to generate with this specific method are so incredibly tempting, anyone nearby is going to have their stomach rumbling. But look, achieving that isn't just about tossing a bunch of stuff in a pot. It's actually a science. It's all about building flavor layers. And throughout this explainer, I'll walk you through exactly how that layering works so you understand the why behind every single step. Moving into Section 1, Essential Prep and Ingredients. We've got to build the foundation. Okay, so the real secret here, it's the precision of our starting lineup. You're going to need exactly 1 kilogram of mutton, thoroughly washed and drained, because any excess water is just going to dilute our flavors, and we definitely don't want that. Alongside your meat, get 400 grams of thinly sliced onions ready. Visually, that's about 6 medium onions. Oh, and 3 roughly chopped tomatoes. This exact ratio, 400 grams of onions to 1 kilo of meat, is literally the mathematical foundation for a perfectly thick, rich gravy. Seriously, make sure you have all of this prepped and ready before you even think about touching the stove. Now, to keep things organized and your head clear while you're cooking, it really helps to divide your spices into 2 distinct camps. Think of it like a 2-part tag team. On the left, we've got our whole spices: 4 green cardamoms, 3 cloves, 2 cinnamon sticks, a little bit of mace, 2 black cardamoms, and 1 bay leaf. These are going to dive into hot oil first to infuse it. Then, on the right, are dry spice powders: 1½ teaspoons of coriander, 1 teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon each of black pepper and turmeric, and a teaspoon of red chili, plus your salt to taste. These dry powders jump in later to build the actual body and color of the gravy. Keeping these totally separated on your prep station, absolute pro move. All right, Section 2, building the flavor base. Let's look at the step-by-step gravy logic. So the absolutely crucial point here is chronological layering. It's like building a house. You start by heating 4 tablespoons of mustard oil in a pressure cooker on high until it is smoking hot. And yes, mustard oil is highly recommended here for that really authentic kick. You drop in those whole spices we just organized, and then follow this exact sequence. Step 1, fry your sliced onions on high heat until they hit a beautiful golden brown. Step 2, lower your heat down to medium. Add 3 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste and cook it for precisely 2 minutes to kill off any raw smell. Step 3, toss in your chopped tomatoes and cook for another 2 minutes until they soften up. And finally, Step 4, mix in all those dry powdered spices along with your salt, drop the heat to low, cover it up, and let it do its thing for 4 to 5 minutes. How do you know it's ready? You'll actually see the oil beautifully separating from the spice mixture. That visual cue is your absolute green light. Which brings us to Section 3, the art of punai. This is the technique that changes everything. Punai. This right here is your secret weapon. It translates roughly to roasting or pan frying, but honestly, it's so much more than that. This is the critical process of adding your washed mutton to that gorgeous spice space we just built, cranking the heat up to medium-high, and vigorously roasting it together for 5 to 7 minutes. You'll want to keep the lid handy to cover it, but you're going to open it constantly to stir. Why? Because you really don't want it to burn on the bottom. This repetitive, almost rhythmic action of roasting and stirring forces the raw meat to release its juices, absorb those intense spices right down to the bone, and kickstart the softening process. Whatever you do, do not rush this step. The success of the entire dish basically hinges on a solid bunai. Once that 5 to 7 minute roasting phase is wrapped up and you see the oil separating again, it's time to seal the deal. You're going to enhance that beautifully roasted meat by mixing in just half a teaspoon of garam masala and 2 teaspoons of your absolute favorite brand of meat or mutton masala. Give that a beautiful stir, pop the lid back on, and let it cook for just 2 more minutes on medium-high. That gives those really complex finishing spices the perfect window to meld with the existing flavors without losing their aromatic punch. Okay, Section 4, precision pressure cooking. Let's talk about the science of tenderness. Now, this is where a lot of people make a massive error by drowning their curry into too much liquid. But our source material is super clear on this. Pour in exactly 1½ cups of water. The visual rule of thumb here is crucial. You want just enough water so the mutton pieces are slightly submerged, but definitely not drowning. This exact ratio is what guarantees a perfectly thick, luxurious gravy instead of a watery soup. Once you add that water, give it a good mix, but hold up. Do not seal the cooker immediately. You've got to wait for a crucial rolling boil to start. As soon as you see that boil, lock down the pressure cooker lid and follow this timeline exactly. Phase 1, keep the flame on medium and wait for exactly 2 whistles. Phase 2, the literal moment that second whistle sounds, drop your heat to its absolute lowest setting and let it simmer for precisely 15 minutes. Phase 3, turn the gas off completely and step away. Just let the steam release naturally. Whatever you do, don't force the valve open. This natural resting period is exactly when the meat fibers relax and soak up all that incredible moisture. And finally, Section 5, the final reveal. It's time to serve the masterpiece. All right, the steam is cleared. But before we serve, let's run through a quick final touch checklist. First up, do a quality check. Take a piece of meat and see if it breaks apart easily. Look, mutton quality varies, so if it's still a little tough, don't panic. Just add half a cup of water, pop the lid back on, and give it 2 more whistles on medium heat. But if it's perfectly tender, gently fold in a handful of fresh, chopped coriander. Then, put the lid back on one last time and let the whole dish rest for 2 to 3 minutes. This brief little resting period allows those fresh herbal notes from the coriander to completely infuse right into that rich, tempting gravy. And there you have it. Check out this quote right here from our source. Everyone will tire themselves out praising you. I mean, how great does that sound? By mastering these precise ratios and the art of bunai, you've seen firsthand how cooking isn't just about throwing heat at food. It's about the chemistry of flavor layering and controlling moisture. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other classic, intimidating dishes are just one proper technique away from absolute perfection? I highly challenge you to test this method out this week. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.